Okay, so welcome everybody to XLR Tier 1 Round 2 here at the prestigious Suzuka circuit, a circuit that has produced some fantastic driving in the past. It's a fast, sweeping circuit that is 3.608 miles long and is finally back on the Formula 1 calendar after it was absent through between 2020 and 2022. I am Solid Elite and I am joined today by Numi. So then, after round 1 last weekend then, indeed he is, after last weekend's incredibly chaotic race at Baku, this is what the standings are looking like at the moment then. If we can just scroll to... Well, he is. That's a mistake. You should be, because the party audio is on. Let me give this a quick check. No, I definitely have that setting. Take a look, because broadcast settings are enabled. So last weekend then, Voting Web taking a victory. He's unfortunately not with us today. Taking his place is Rocky on his XLR debut. Yeah, Numi should just be commentating from the chat for the rest of the stream then. And Sus Among Us took P2, Jack Imac P3 after he had, I think, about 10 or 12 different comebacks throughout the race. He had a lot of work to do, and he'll be hoping to regain the championship lead actually from Voting Web, as he misses out this round unfortunately. Although I think everyone would have taken a skipped round for for what he is watching at the moment. So then, looks like Haas is on the first driver on a flying lap at the moment. Then in the Haas car, he is through the S's at the moment. This section of corners is incredibly easy to take a quick spin at if you lounge around on the curbs for too long, or you put a bit too much steering lock in, as here's through the first of the Degners, clunking that inside curb. You can really attack the curves in this year's game. It's a fantastic improvement to what we've seen in previous years, as now you can actually drive the cars rather than tiptoe them round the circuit, which is always a promising feature. Actually, I think who's in the other McLaren? No, it is Haas that is going to be the first driver to set the lap there. Just checking. A couple of drivers in front of him are on out laps. You've got in front of him, you've got Rocky and the McLaren of Liam Boalder on their out laps in front. So then Haas barrels down that long back straight into 130R, one of the fastest corners in the entire calendar. Such an incredible corner. If you go side by side there, you are going to find a bit of trouble should you get it wrong. And Haas goes a 30.1. That's left a lot to be desired, I think, for the Haas driver. He'll certainly be looking to improve on that lap time then, as DXM does indeed improve by about a second on that lap, sending him through to the top of the timing sheets. Pyro on a 34.4. He's just on a bit of a... So Pyro's on the inters. Why is he on the intermediate tyres? It could be to set a banker in queue. I'm not particularly sure. That's bewildered me a little bit. But Mike VK21 is up into P2 now with a 28.3. L Plan back on the controller is on a 28.6. And at the top of the timing sheets, a 27.8 for Andy. He is looking rapid around this Suzuka circuit. A circuit which is pretty intense to drive and race on. I think that Rocky is going to be the next driver to finish his flying lap then, as he is through the corner that is called the chicane. Round the final corner then for Rocky to the line. He goes up to P6 on his XLR debut, and there's a Ferrari behind that has just begun a flying lap. I believe that is LPBO5 in the Ferrari with Shakos then. As we see who is next to set a time. I think Sneaky is actually purple through the first sector. I think that's his teammate coming into the pit lane then, is what we can see on our screens. There's an Alpha Tauri coming up to the line shortly.
Oh!
That's DX. Oh, yes, I just caught that. LPBO5 in the gravel trap then on his flying lap attempt. That will not go down well with his tyres or his team, I would presume then. Zaki's Beast in the Alpine, just finishing a lap now to the final corner. Zaki's Beast P7 is what he can manage in this Q1 session, and Aston Martin, I think that's D10, also to the line now. Where can he put that car? Well, we'll have to wait and see, as he was on an outlap. LPBO5, he's still going in this session. I'm not sure if that's a glitch or a genuine feature. That Ferrari's halo has got a lot of patterns on it with the carbon fibre. I didn't recognise that in real life. I think he's also got that on the suspension, so I think that's just a lighting glitch. It might be on my screen. Jack Imac, last week's superhero driver, to be completely honest, with the amount of comebacks that he achieved, is on a flying lap, and in that first twisty section of S corners, fast flowing corners that are incredibly difficult to get right, and should you get them wrong, you will find yourself in a high speed spin through the first deck, and you can just carry so much speed with first gear, as that's the purple sector 1 for Jack Imac on the medium compound of tyres before he goes into the hairpin, then down into second gear before short shifting to third, getting the power down the best he possibly can in that Aston Martin. Then he'll be wanting to use all the grip of the medium compound tyres, get a solid lap in, and possibly he'll be able to use those for the race if they've just been scrubbed in with a lap then, as he is through the spoon at the moment, down into fourth gear to get a bit of extra rotation and extra traction on the exit then, as he barrels down that long back straight where the Super GT races actually start from. There has been some rather large incidents in the past, as into the chicane comes Jack Imac, then hard on the brakes into second gear, get that rotation before he short shifts up to fourth to power to the line then. Jack Imac P2 on the medium compounder tyres with a 28.1. Good lap time from Jack Imac then. I think that's Shakos on a flyer at the moment. He's purple in the first sector on the medium compound of tyres as well. He using a very similar style to Jack Imac, of short shifting into third out of that hairpin to make sure he can lay down the most amount of power possible to get the greatest traction off the corner and gain the most time he possibly can. Is through spoon now, fifth gear, down into fourth gear then for Shakos on those mediums, having to go down a couple of extra gears on the slightly slower tyre compound, but getting them out of the way in the easier for these top drivers to get out of Q1 is certainly a sensible and wise decision. Into the chicane then comes Shakos using third gear, whereas Jack Imac moved into second. Let's see where this lap time puts Shakos. It's P5, a 28.6 on the mediums. Bear that in mind though, as we got a few drivers on flyers at the moment. Ayan and Liam Wilder. Liam on the mediums, whereas Ayan is on those soft tyres at the moment. So Liam is just in spoon at the moment then, as he powers his way out. A lot of the drivers on the mediums using fourth gear to get a little bit of extra rotation and a bit of better traction coming off the line. Of course, you don't have to short shift quite as much in this year's game due to more realistic traction, which is greatly appreciated by, well, literally everyone. So then Liam Boulder round that final corner, DRS active for the McLaren. He goes only P11 on those medium tyres, so he's got a bit of work to do then. Ayan is just coming into that chicane at the moment. I'd expect him to go close to the top. He showed some promising pace last time out in Baku, but he unfortunately got a bit of a glitch that sent him out of the race and scoring no points. A 28.4 puts him P4. Then that's looking good, as tech support I think has just jumped up to P3. Yes, he had in the Alfa Romeo. That's a 28.1 on the soft compound tyres. So really, I'm not sure if Andy set his lap on... He set his lap on soft, so Jack Imac certainly looking the fastest at the moment. Fantastic lap on those medium tyres. So then, Sus Among Us and LPBO5 are the last drivers to set laps, both incredibly close to each other actually on the track. LPBO5 just on the run up to the Spoon curves, and we've got a yellow flag from McLaren going slowly. He did not spin.
That's Sus Among Us. He's bailed his lap.
Oh, has he?
Yeah, he had a purple sector 1. I'm not entirely sure why, but I just saw him coming under the bridge. He's bailed his lap.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, he has. He's just on that battery recharge, so not sure what happened there with Sus Among Us, but he bailed his lap. But LPBO5 is certainly not in the Ferrari. Then he's through that final chicane at the moment, jumping and skipping all over the curves in that Ferrari as he powers his way to the line. He puts it P4 with a 28.2, so a very close field spread at the moment. Pyro finally puts on some dry tyres and will set a good lap, and yeah, Sus is going to have to refuel. He's too low on fuel to finish, to get round and do another lap. So he's going to be under a little bit of pressure. Last weekend's P2 podium scorer then. Pyro, what sort of pace does he actually have as DRS is active now? A 28.8 for Pyro, P11. So ironically, Liam is really at risk here on those medium tyres. He's going to have to burn through a set of socks if he wants to make sure he's through, because I'm sure Sus Among Us will certainly be making it through if he gets a lap together. He's got a lot of work, so I think this is tech support perhaps going for another lap here. He's driving very fast for someone on an in lap, unless he's particularly bored. I think tech support is looking to improve his Q1 lap. Mike VK21 knows he's done enough to get through to the session on a 28.3, so we'll have to wait and see if that makes him safe. It should, as that means a lot of drivers will have to find a lot of time to send him out. Realistically, they're going to have to find over a second to knock Mike VK21.
There's a purple sector from tech support. He's definitely pushing here.
Yeah, indeed, he is. He's very much improving in that Alfa Romeo then. The Kick Alfa Romeo, as it's now known. Big Kick sponsors. It does make you want to kick that car off the track. As through Spoon Curve he goes. At the moment, bit of a glitch all over the place, as then he powers down that long back straight. Then moving into 130R. Such a fantastic corner to just watch and drive. It's
Pyro's failed another lap. And Pyro's back into the pits again. He's only P11 with that lap.
Oh no! Tech support spun round a bit too hefty on the power then. And tech support unfortunately doesn't finish that lap, but it's not going to impact him too much as he is probably safely through.
Yeah, it's got a bit too eager on the throttle there. Unlucky from tech support.
Yeah, Jack. Yeah, sorry. Jack Imac knows he's also done enough. Rocky is out again. He is. Well, I think he bailed on a lap. He must have bailed on a lap. Oh, he's making a bit of contact with the wall then. Rocky under huge pressure as he needs to get in and out very, very fast here if he wants to secure his place in qualifying 2 then. DXM is about to begin a flying lap as he powers down that long main straight. that we have here at Japan. That's the yellow for sector 3. I think is that just us among us preparing for his lap. I assume that is then, as in the first sector goes DXM. The first sector around Suzuka much more enjoyable to drive in this year's game as the cars stick to the road a bit more. You can really use those curbs and feel like you're really wringing the most out of your car, and the AlphaTauri of DXM is certainly doing that. He's 2/10 up at the moment. That's going to propel him to around the P12 position, so quite a few places to be gained with minimal time here. Everyone's very relatively close together, and DXM will be looking to capitalise on that and shoot himself up the order. Pretty much everyone in the top six will not set another lap. If tech support burns through another set of tyres, I'll be amazed and quite shocked that he would think to do that, as he's probably so good. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It's probably a used set that he went out on anyway. Yeah. So then, DXM in the AlphaTauri coming through 130R at the moment into that final chicane, makes the most of the track, bouncing and jittering all over the curbs. DXM P7, he managed to find him almost 7/10. So DXM looks like he should be safely through. A lot of drivers on outlaps at the moment. Then Liam Buelder has found almost a second.
That's over a second.
Yeah, indeed. As Sus Among Us goes to the top of the timing sheets at 27.7.
Very good lap.
The track ramping up a little bit then, as the objective is just to get through. Liam Buelder goes P3 with a 28.1. So he's
currently bottom. He's half a second up though. It's only enough for 18th, but he will get a few more runs. It's not over. Sweatback Flame goes only 15th, so he's still at risk. But that might have been an outlap, to be honest. I don't know.
I think it probably... yeah, that was an outlap. D10 also replicating that by starting an outlap then. I think the next driver to cross the line to finish a lap, it looks like it's going to be Stefan starting a lap. El Plan is still in the pit lane, and I don't think we'll set another flying lap. A couple of drivers still on outlaps then. Shackle's about to start a flying lap. I think Sneaky is the furthest. No, I don't think he is. I think Sneaky is actually the furthest along. On his lap.
Zakis Beast has just started. No, not Zakis Beast. The Williams of Stefan has just started a lap.
Yeah,
we've got Zakis Beast is coming up to the line now.
There's another Mercedes. That's Rocky on an outlap.
Never mind.
Yeah,
that Mercedes? Is that Pyro?
That's Rocky. Pyro's just about to begin a lap.
Slow lap.
So then, Sneaky Lagger will probably be his final attempt. Yes, it will be. Sneaky Lagger, can he propel himself up the order just a little bit more? Yes, he can. P7 is what he can manage. Then we're going to start to see a flurry of cars crossing the finish line then. Sweatback Flame will be the next to do so as his teammate just pulls into the pit lane to your right hand side. Sweatback Flame P9 is going to be quite an exciting... Oh, I thought I saw someone flipping in the pit lane. D10 goes up to P4. That's a good lap from him. Pyro, he's all over the grass a bit and pulls into the pit lane. Only P15. He could be out in Q1 here. We'll have to wait and see.
He will be, because there's only 19 drivers. I think it eliminates bottom 5. I think Pyro could be out here. I think he is.
He might be. Let's see where Stefan can go in this lap. Can Stefan move himself out of the bottom 5? Yes, he can. Pyro is definitely eliminated now. All eyes turn to Rocky then. He's only around a 10th up. He's just under a 10th up at the moment.
Zakis Beast is half a second up right now, coming into the last chicane.
Zakis Beast will desperately need to get himself out of this session. He's about half a second up. This should secure his place. Oh no, he's round! Zakis Beast is round! He is out of qualifying then. So unfortunate for Zakis Beast. Rocky's backed off.
Yeah, Rocky's backed off.
Rocky out as well. Haas is on a flying lap. He's 2/10 up. That's not going to be enough though. 2/10 is not going to be enough for Haas.
It could be.
No, it's not.
He's 7/10 up now.
Oh no, he's 7/10. Sorry. That
he was 2/10 up in the first sector. Now he's 7/10 up.
It's going to be close. It's going to be really tight for Haas.
Oh
no, another huge step out. He cannot get through on that lap. He hasn't. Yeah, he lost so much time. Oh, that's so
And
unfortunate for
everyone
Haas.
is now safe.
Indeed,
El Pan might be out here. I'm not sure.
El Flan, he shouldn't be out, but the game does, as you say, eliminate the bottom 5. So
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's still the bottom 5 though, or whether it's only up to 15th. We'll just have to wait and see
I feel
what
like
happens to El Plan.
yeah, we'll have to wait and see. So the end of Q1 then, quite an exciting end then, with Zach's beat an unfortunate spin that sent him out of qualifying. He was definitely going to get through. Sasamangas, Shakos and Andy are your top 3 then. Jack Imac on the medium tyres, P6, he has got a lot of pace as well. So we'll have to wait and see then what happens in Q2. We could see
No,
a
El
couple
Plan
of...
is through.
Ah, so it has done it properly instead of...
Yeah, El Plan is through. Okay. El Plan getting through by the skin of his teeth there.
Indeed, I think he literally played that absolutely perfectly. He couldn't have left it any later, so it's a good job from El Plan then.
So out in Q1 we got Zach's Beast, Hearts, Rocky, and Pyro. Both Mercedes knocked out in the first part of qualifying.
Not a good start for the Mercedes.
Voting will not be happy seeing the result of his replacement. Alright, Q2 then. Got Mike setting the mediums, and DXM also on mediums. That's it. Andy preparing to go out on track. Shakos, D10, Mike, Stefan, all preparing to drive out, all in first gear, which means they're in the driving out cutscene. D10 yet again is going to be the first driver out on track.
He likes to test the waters, the Aston Martin driver, and a lot of them out early on then, and we'll see what sort of tyres. So D10 softs confirmed. So Mike mediums as well as DXM.
DXM's on mediums.
Yeah, indeed. So they've got a harder job getting out of getting through to Q3 on the harder tyres, unless they want to just have a single run come Q3 should they get through. So I'll have to wait and see what happens here. Who can get the laps together and who can actually string them together, because
Pyro said he had an extra. He said he had over half a second that he could have improved there. He just couldn't get a clean lap together, and that is what cost him.
Yeah, that's very unfortunate for Pyro. I think he
F1 can be brutal at times, particularly the F1 game.
Indeed, I think the grip just wasn't where he had expected and anticipated in his practice runs. So that is pretty unfortunate. Sometimes conditions can change between practice sessions and the real thing. But then D10 will be looking to have the perfect conditions for his lap, then trying to get through into Q3. We'll see what the Aston Martin driver can do. He'll be given a slipstream to the Alfa Romeo and Alfa Tauri behind. Although I'm quite concerned about how close I think that's DXM is to the Alfa Romeo. He might be getting a little bit too much dirty air, especially
It's
through...
not that close. It looks closer than it is on the minimap, I think.
Indeed, but dirty air is pretty effective at ruining lap times. So we'll wait and see what happens when they all cross the line then. So D10 in the Aston Martin, He's got through the first sector unscathed. Of course, purple as he's the first one to settle a lap, but then through the hairpin, he's going to now get the maximum amount of traction he possibly can on the run up to the spoon curves. Quite a unique double apex corner, something that you tend to go down. Look what he's doing here, 6th gear and then down into 4th gear to get an absolute masterclass of an exit, coming down onto the run through into 130R. You see a couple of overtakes happening here during the race. Suzuka's quite a difficult track to overtake on, so into 130R and into the chicane, probably where you're going to be seeing a lot of the moves. As D10 has really looked like he was fighting the car through the chicane then, but he crosses the line to set a 28.5. Let's see where DXM can put his car on the mediums. 30.2. Mike VK21.
Stratos has been lighting up the timing screens though throughout the first and second sector, and he can't beat Stefan though.
P2.
Almost 2 tenths down, and he goes fastest again.
What a lap from Andy at 27.4. That's
Early on going fastest like he
fast.
did in Q1, and can't be matched even by Jack Imac.
Only 2 tenths faster on the soft compound tyres.
No, he's not out lap, never mind.
Only 2 tenths faster on the soft compound tyres. We'll have to wait and see where El Plan can put his car then, as he looks like he's fighting the rear end of that Williams. Puts it P7. Quite a lot of drivers still yet to set a flying lap in this session. The next to do so will be Sneaky. He's round that final corner now, but he is on the medium compound tyres, and P5, a good lap from Sneaky then, as we have had 10 drivers that have set lap times then. Liam Wilder invalidated and is into the pit lane then. It's all up to his teammate Sweatback Flame to try and make the McLarens through into Q3 on the medium tyres this time around. Let's hope no one does fly, as that is a particular risk of sausage curbs and high curbs in general. Sausage curbs really probably are a bit of a safety risk here in Formula 1, so I'm not particularly sure why they're still used. I personally don't really enjoy them very much. Unless you were looking to take off very fast, they are not really particularly useful. But then, through Spoon, ooh, Sweatback Flame looking like he was very close to invalidating his lap there. Going just staying with inside the white lines, which is where the track limits are for all corners. I think that was a rule introduced in 2022 after we've had some shenanigans in 21 and 2020. If you watch some of those where the track limits were the curves, you would have said, what is going on? Sweatback Flame then, P10 on the medium compounded tyres. So DXM's about 9 tenths down and has got a lot of work to do if he wants to make it through into Q3 then. Ayan on the soft compound tyres is in that middle sector around the spoon section of the lap as we speak, as there's a lot of yellow flags, so a lot of drivers just going a little slowly. Ayan really hugging that inside before he switches to the outside to open up 130R as much as possible, and indeed it is a purple sector coming out from the AlphaTauri driver. This should see him 100% into the top 10. I'd be quite surprised if this lap wasn't a contender to get through to Q3. Indeed it is a P3 for Ayan, a 27.9, just 6 hundredths down, 62 hundredths in fact, down on Jack Imac. Tech support then will be the next driver to set a flying lap. Or perhaps he might not be. That might be a couple of other drivers on laps at the moment. Jack Imac is on an in lap then, and the driver just in front of him, Sus Among Us, who finished ahead of him last weekend, is also on an out lap and will allow Jack through as Ayan lets someone through on the first sector. I think Jack is actually on a flyer here, although he is down on his time, so I'd be very surprised if he tries to finish this lap then. Indeed he does pull into the pits very aggressively, should I add. We're going to hop back on board with tech support, who is just on that long back straight at the moment then. Let's see what sort of time he can set, and he looks purple in that middle sector. It flashed purple, so hopefully that is a good sign for the Alfa Romeo driver as he's bouncing all over the curves. No flying for that Alfa Romeo as he gets a little squirrely coming through the final corner then. Tech Support puts it in P2 at 27.8. Still 4 tenths away from Andy, who looks to be the strongest out there at the moment, to be honest.
Still a very solid lap from Tech Support. Possibly none of the drivers are pushing 100%, but yeah, Andy does look promising. Just got Liam Buolder just starting his second flying lap, but hopefully his first valid lap. As you were saying about flying laps, I ended up having one of them on the curbs at the last chicane. Andy retiring, confident with his pace.
I'd be too if I was 4 tenths up.
Yeah.
So, Assess Among Us is just towards the end of a flying lap at the moment. He's got to navigate through a couple of yellow flags, so perhaps some slow moving traffic. I think on the minimap it looks like he's clear. There's just a Williams that's just gone through that final chicane to begin a flying lap. I believe that is our plan. So then,
that's our plan.
Let's see what Sus Among Us can do then. Where can he put his car? P1, a 27.2, 2 tenths, or just under 2 tenths up on Andy then. A brilliant lap from Sus Among Us. He could be a contender for the pole. Good lap.
Yeah. Sus Among Us has been very quick on this game. I believe he showed promising pace in Spain pre-season before he got himself a speeding penalty, if I remember correctly from that one. He sped in the pit lane and that cost him the race. It's Liam Buolder, purple in the middle sector. Gonna hope he can keep this one valid into the last chicane.
Indeed he is then. Let's see Liam Buolder in that Papaya McLaren. DRS active then. It is P7 only for Liam Buolder. The last 2 seasons champion here in XLR is a little bit at risk, if I'm being honest.
Shakos, 6 tenths up on his personal best.
And that's
that would
exactly
put him,
why.
Around where Tech Support is, if he can hold this together. Up to the line, what can Shakos do? It is P3, and it's completely wiping out Tech Support's lap.
3 tenths.
3 tenths, and our plan also goes above Tech Support.
Track ramping up massively then. A lot of drivers finding big improvements, so perhaps now they're all starting to push a little more than they might have done before, as they all feel a little bit at risk. Really, I think that's...
Liam Buolder still isn't safe, looking at it. He's only P9, so he'll have to do another lap. Liam uses 48. I've suddenly become a fan of Liam because he uses the same number as me.
So LPBO5 is coming towards the end of his lap. He is also over 6 tenths up. So at the moment, he's probably going to be around the P8 region and getting himself into Q3 provisionally then. Let's see if he can keep it in a straight line then, coming to the line. LPBO5 does indeed go to P8 with a 28.0. He might be able to have... He might be able to get around again. We'll have to see.
Liam will have to be in and out pretty quickly. Although he should have plenty of time with 3 minutes to go.
I think that
Got
is...
DXM on a flyer. Is coming to the end of the first sector. He's a second up on his previous best. But still that will only put him P14.
So unfortunately, Fuzzle, we will not be able to... we can't really tell you whether it's going to be dry for the race. Judging by the conditions around at the moment, I believe it's probably going to be dry, but that could be the commentator's curse.
We had rain in Qatar last night, so...
Yeah. We had all of our 100mm in a year, so we can never be too sure. DXM then, as he accelerates down to that second sector line, we will see exactly where he might put this car. 1.3, that's probably not going to be enough. It's not going to be enough. He's got to find a lot more time.
Get him off the bottom of the table.
It
1.3 seconds would put him just behind D10. Let's see what he can actually do, and it is 13, and it's just behind D10, like I said. I am a predicting genius.
So I think that's the next to say lap is going to be a... Well, that's going to... I think it's going to be an Alfa Romeo, actually, of tech
I believe it will
support.
be tech support. No,
No, it won't be. It'll be
sector one.
Mike is on an outlap at the moment. I'd have said it would be probably one of the Aston Martins. There'd be
Yeah,
D10.
Jack Imax on the first lap.
D10's backed off of his lap, so it will indeed be Jack Imac then, as that Alfa Romeo in front is...
It's like half a tenth up on his lap so far.
Perhaps most of the time is through the spoon curve. We'll have to wait and see as he gets to that second sector line exactly how much he's improved by. His teammate's going to give him a nice little slipstream actually coming down, which is going to get him a bit more time gained. His teammate not really moving out the way though. There he goes to the inside, not compromising Jack Imac's line at all. Indeed, I didn't exactly catch how much he is up by. And Aston Martin, oh no, he's invalidated!
Oh.
That's Jack Imac's Q. Jack could see himself out here. He's not going to get round again. P6 only for Jack Imac, and he was looking fast. Giannuzzi's just absolutely jinxed him in the chat.
Ayan just starting his lap now. This will be Ayan's final flying lap of the qualifying session.
Indeed. DXM pulls into the pits, so DXM, of course, from his in-lap is out then. Tech support pulls into the pit lane as well.
The push lap now.
A lot of drivers pulling into the pit lane actually.
Sneaky Lag is 7/10 up on his personal best. That's only through the first sector. Going into the sector 2 split, he is 9/10 up. That would put him around where Jack Imac is. No, it wouldn't. No, yes it would. Put him ahead of Jack Imac if he can keep it clean through the last sector.
We'll actually put him
to the
close
line.
to Shakos.
P4, yeah, just behind Jakos. The maths wasn't mathsing.
You've got a lot.
It doesn't
of
work when you don't
to
say
do.
math. Mike is a 10.5 up here as well. You can see what he can do.
It's not
Now
going to be enough.
5/10 up. It's a purple middle sector from Mike.
Half a second.
On the brakes.
It's not going to be enough. He needs a
Still
full
might not be
second.
enough, though.
He needs a full second. So unless he can magically find half a second, Mike VK21 is out.
Yeah, Mike's out.
Of qualifying. D10, what can he do? He's only 2/10 up, so he'll
2/10.
be out as well. That's most unfortunate. Liam Boulder, he's only 1,000th up. Liam Boulder, he needs to find about 1/10 of a second, but the
only XLR champion. He's at 2/10 up.
L Plan's just put in a better lap as well. I think this could see Liam through. We'll have to wait and see how much faster Stefan is. LPBO5. LPBO5 could see himself out as well then. Liam Boulder to the line, does get in. Let's see what Stefan can do. LPBO5's gone.
LPB is out. And that is it. Everyone is done with their flying laps.
And then Sus Among Us is our leader after that qualifying session, followed by Andy and then Shakos. Wow, quite an interesting qualifying session as we will lose LPBO5, D10, Mike VK21, DXM and Sweatback Flame. So for pole, it's looking like it's going to be either Andy or Sus Among Us, but in the end, it could be perhaps tech support or Jack Imac to come from the shadows. Remember, they didn't set a second lap time in that session, so we can never be too sure who is going to be taking the pole. We will have to wait for the end of Q3 to find out.
Jack Imac had pace, but not but he didn't have like Q3 levels of pace. No, not Q3, like pole levels of pace. Sorry, but we lose LBP, D10, Mike, DXM, and Sweatback Flame in Q2. Interesting that Sweatback only did a lap on the mediums. He never went for a run on the softs. As Fuzzle wants an invite now. Right, so Fuzzle will be able to make it for the race.
So everyone who was interested in the Austrian Grand Prix, apparently there was over 1,200 potential track limit offences.
And Aston Martin have just appealed.
And it's got upheld, so the results will change. And yeah. I think it's going to be a day or two, to be honest, before we get...
Will. I've seen someone saying that theoretically, Sonoda had up to 8 track extensions, which would give him a 25-second time penalty.
well over. 1,200 I can't say it. 1,200 track limit abuses over that, and
Gasly supposedly should have 15 seconds. Science Hamilton and Alonso should supposedly have 10 seconds. Like, it's crazy.
There's going to be a lot of. I feel like, as people say, the order's going to change a lot, but it's not really, because everyone's going to get a penalty, so it's going to kind of sort of balance out a little bit, if you get what I mean. So we will. Wow. So I think it's just going to take them. It's going to just take them so much time to figure out what's happened,
Yeah,
and
sure.
so we just have to be patient. They'll probably be working late into the night, so Liam does indeed need to up his game. The two-time champ, 6.5 tenths down. I'm just going to put it down to a poor lap for the McLaren driver, but
Honestly, he might not have the pace on F123 because both seasons of XLR so far have been on 22.
yeah, indeed,
So
we'll have
maybe
to
the
see.
game.
We'll have to see what Liam Wilder can do coming into Q3. As we're taking an awfully long time to load.
Yeah, has anyone actually readied up yet?
Oh dear. So, if you guys are just with us, we are waiting for the start of.
Right, we're going now.
Well, we are not waiting anymore. Also, ironically, it's Daniel. Oh no, it's not. That's 2 days ago.
What? Did you know Hulkenberg got a warning for track limits when he was retiring?
Yes,
Like,
I saw that.
pulling off track was given a warning for pulling off track. We got Shackles coming out, Andy, Jack Imac, Sneaky Lagger, and that is it for now coming out. That's Liam Bewalder has just joined the session. I was not aware that he wasn't in the session. And here is Father. Why is Andy going so slow in the pit lane?
Wait, he was not in this. How long was he not in the session for?
I don't know. I think just while we were loading.
Okay, yeah, because imagine it was his AI driving the whole time.
Yeah, it was just Liam's AI that got him into Q3.
Liam he's so OP. They just want him to drive Q3.
Imagine like Liam out in Q1. I think the internet would explode.
Sneaky.
Jack Imac is the first out on track.
Well,
continuing the tradition of Aston Martins being first out on track.
Well, Sneaky was first and then had a trip into the gravel, so I'm not sure if he was too busy looking at Instagram or something, but
probably
if that...
Discord. I don't think Sneaky uses Insta.
Discord, well, this is a good message not to text and drive, as even in the virtual world you can see yourself across
I've
the
done
gravel.
that in open lobbies before.
Do not text and drive.
I've genuinely done a public open lobby around Austria while also talking on Discord.
So then we wait to see Jack Imac. Everybody out on track then. We'll have to see what sort of lap times are produced. Low 27s could be incoming. I doubt anyone's going to get into the 26s. If you are just joining us then, get ready for an exciting Q3 battle. Looks like 3 drivers definitely in it, or possibly even more. Of course, there's 10 drivers that could take pole position, and we'll just have to see which one prevails. Jack Imac then in the Aston Martin.
I think he just cursed Jack Imac again. He said he's gonna have a masterclass incoming.
We will have to wait and see whether it's the Welsh curse or the Welsh wizard who won last race yesterday in Tier 2 with well, we had an interesting affair there, but Jack Imac a 31.7 through the first sector, then looking pretty fast into both of the Degners before he heads into the chicane, then down into third gear, get plenty of traction coming out, using all of the track he possibly can. On the run up to Spoon Curve at the moment, the number 25 Aston Martin, the beautiful British racing green glistening in the Japanese sun, as he rounds the final bit of Spoon Curve onto the long run up to 130R, using all of the power he has in that Mercedes engine. A long upshift into 8th gear then, perhaps that could have lost him a bit of time, as he's about 190 miles per hour through 130R.
He's upshifted at that point in 130R every single lap that I've seen from him so far, as he goes fastest with a 27.7. Let's see what Shackles behind him can do. It's a 27.5.
Good lap from Shackles. Andy, a 27.5 as well, just 300ths behind, as it looks like the Alpina Sasamangas goes even faster with a 27.2. Brilliant lap from him, the Williams of El Plan. A 27.5 puts him up into P2. El Plan, a fantastic lap. Let's see where his teammate can put the car. P6 only with a 28.4 for Stefan. And the next driver to cross the line is going to be the Alfa Romeo of Tech Support. He has backed off of his first lap and has taken liberties of a warm-up lap. Liam Boulder, though, will be the next to set a flyer. He looks a little deep through the first part of the chicane, bouncing that orange papaya McLaren everywhere. Round the final corner for Liam Boulder, DRS active. P7 only for Liam. He's got a lot of work to do. Ayan has invalidated his lap. Yeah, he invalidated quite early on. So what happened? Sneaky. I'm not sure what happened to him, but he's gone back into the pits and now has put on an outlap. So Liam Boulder certainly not looking... Oh no! A spin for Tech Support in the first sector.
I mean... Oh no. I thought he'd done his lap and then I saw that it was not a push lap, his first lap.
Yeah, Tech Support then. Round he goes. Will be potentially mortified with that, but he still has one lap to go. One lap will pretty much be it for, or unless he can cool his tyres down. I think he can, and it happened early enough in the lap, so he can recharge those batteries quite nicely. That Ayan is on a flyer at the moment as well. Then after he invalidated his first flying lap, the only AlphaTauri left in the session. Ironically, only Williams have managed to get both cars into Q3. That's something you don't see in real life F1.
Yeah. Also in real life F1, you don't get Mr. Bosses deliberately taking people out.
Indeed, the Bruni 3.0. So then, let's see where Ayan can put this car then. Can he stick it close to provisional pole position? Will it be the front row? Will it be the second row? Will it be P8? Just ahead of Tech Support, who had a banker lap then. Where has Ayan set that lap? P7 only for the AlphaTauri driver. Not the greatest of laps then from him. He knows he can do faster. He definitely can go faster. And it will be the second lap for Ayan. That will mean everything to him. Sneaky Lagger then on just towards the end of the final, on his flying lap, sorry, as he rounds the chicane for the final time on this lap then. Through that final corner, DRS active early on, Sneaky Lagger P6 with a 28.2. He'll be looking for plenty of improvement then come the second set of flying laps. Tech Support will be our last driver to set a flying lap. I think he'll manage to be in sync with everybody else.
Sector.
He looks 2 seconds up. Oh no, big slide. I'm not sure if that was just the game, because
I think that was a slide, but he doesn't seem to cost him too much time.
No,
let's hope he can keep going with it.
Well, he's got no choice really.
I have just noticed we have just hit 50 followers on Twitch. Road to affiliate is very much a thing.
Thank you everybody for all the follows and love then. So,
he's sliding so much with that rear end.
Really struggling with the rear in that Alfa Romeo then, as he barrels down the long straight on the lead up to 130R, flat out 190 miles per hour on the exit. So incredibly fast as tech support comes through the final chicane, round that final corner. DRS active then for the Alfa Romeo driver, P6 with a couple of big mistakes there. So
Yeah, he's
tech
got more
support,
time in him.
I reckon that's minimum 2/10.
Well, he's got the 8. I don't think he has the 8/10 in him to take pole, but he certainly has more time in that car.
Yeah, indeed. So then, ironically, a few drivers coming out pretty early on to set their next laps, a bit of security. Tech support's going to probably be the last driver, to be honest, to set a flying lap, as he is going to be coming in again. So El Plan will be the first. Indeed, he'll be the first driver to set a second flying lap then. Through turn 1, such speed before he goes down half of his gears for turn 2. Through the main section of the S's, flicking that car left, right before swinging
no,
in.
round.
He's round. Too much
You could see
steering
that
angle.
going.
And
He
with the
got too much curb, and you could just see the rig going, and then it went. I was going to say he was very committed through the first part of the S's, but the commitment was what caused his downfall.
Indeed, you have to be committed though.
And he's just starting his next lap. Liam Walder's just come out of the pit lane as well. So, yeah, no one else on track. So tech support, who'll most likely, tech support's coming in. Stefan's just coming out. So drivers starting to come out now, preparing for their final flying laps in the session. We've got Shackles and Suss among us right behind each other.
Indeed, so we'll wait to see, as actually we can hop on board with Andy, who's just started a flying lap. He's purple in that first sector then through the Degners. You carry such great speed through that part of the lap. It's honestly incredible. And Andy using the most of that Red Bull car then, using all the grip the soft compound tyres have to offer him. He will be leaving absolutely nothing on the table then. As through Spoon he goes then through that second part of the corner. He accelerates hard onto that long back straight. We'll have to see exactly how much he is up by. He needs to be up by 3/10, over 3/10 really. It's not going to quite be enough. He needs to find a little bit more time, a few hundredths in this final sector if he wants to secure a provisional pole position. Then Andy darting that Red Bull beautifully through the tight chicane round that final corner. Andy goes to provisional pole at 27.0. He found a great bit of time in that final sector then. A brilliant lap.
There's not much place to find time in that sector. Like, it's just commitment through 130R and then getting the braking right. That's a very nice lap still.
So Shackles invalidated his time. He's going to get to the line in time. I don't know if a lot of these drivers are actually going to get to the line in time, you know. Ooh, it's going to be tight.
I can't see it because of the yellow flag sign. 40 seconds. No, Jack should make it. They should all make it. Like, the last to start a lap will be Jack Imac.
But it's going to be...
Techie's still on... Yeah.
It's going to be
tight. So tech support has got 30 seconds. He's going to have to push it, but he should be able to make it.
Really? From Spoon, 20 seconds to the line? I don't think
I'm not
so.
Sure. He's pushing as hard as he can.
Tech support isn't going to make it.
No, I don't think he is. No, he's backed off. He's realised he's not making it.
Yeah,
so tech support is only P6.
It's unfortunate for him. So Shackles, I'm just trying to figure out who'll be the next. It's Liam Welder. P6 is all he can manage then in that McLaren car. We'll have to wait and see. Stefan's invalidated his final flying lap attempt. El Plan is almost 8/10 down, it showed me, on his lap, so he'll not be improving at all. Down. Yeah, El Plan
stays third.
Only the second row of the grid.
There's a Red Bull, but he's on an in lap.
He's on an in lap.
Not such a moment. Stefan is going back. It'll be
invalidation from
Shakos.
Stefan. Indeed, it will be then.
Shakos.
He's 2/10 up.
2/10 up.
Ooh, he needs to find 3/10 in this final sector if he wants to try and make it a provisional pole position. Then through that final chicane comes Shakos. Got to keep that rear end in check. DRS active then Shakos. He puts it P3.
Can't even beat Sus Among Us.
Ayan
Speaking
down
of
in
Sus Among Us,
P10.
he's into the last corner now. He's 2/10 up.
He's provisional pole. Close to 5.
Jack Imac left.
Sneaky Lagger. A 7.009.
Where'd that come from? And Jack Imac, I'm not sure if he's improved or not. Jack Imac goes to 4th. Where has that pole lap come from the Sneaky Lagger?
He's been sandbagging all this time. Wow. Incredible lap from Sneaky. A silent assassin to take the pole. Fantastic lap from the Haas driver.
Wow.
Out of nowhere then, as Sus Among Us in the Alpine P2, Andy in P3 in the Red Bull, all within a tenth of each other, and just a further 3/4 of a tenth back is Jack Imac. Very close. Ayan was able to put it P6 in the end. Texport will start P9 after he wasn't quite able to get that second lap in due to some spins and during the qualifying session. So then we wait to hear.
Sneaky's just as confused as we are.
He will. To be honest, he wasn't really in my equation for pole, as we have a 5-minute
He
break.
wasn't either.
Or 6-minute
He
break.
made his setup during qualifying, as he does. Like
So-
he literally said 10 minutes before the race, "Oh, is it Japan today?"
So, well, 6 minutes to go before we get down to doing some rail racing here in Japan. I'm going to take a short break, and Numi, if you'd like to do some facts, feel free. If not, be prepared to take a break.
I will quickly take a break, but then I shall start on the Wikipedia
articles. So, thanks everybody for watching qualifying. 5 minutes now before the race start. Grab your popcorn and prepare for this, because this is going to be exciting.
Right. Wikipedia time. Okay. Shall we start by talking about... let's start by talking about the Suzuka circuit. So the Suzuka circuit is a 5.807 kilometer long motorsport racetrack in Ino, Suzuka, Japan, and is operated by Honda. They decided to develop a new permanent racetrack in the late 1950s, designed as a Honda test track in 1962 by a Dutchman, John Hans Hugelholtz. The most iconic feature of the track is the figure of 8 layout with a 1.2 kilometer long back straight passing over the front section by means of an overpass. It is only one of 2 Grade 1 licensed circuits to have a figure 8 layout, the other one being Fiorano in Italy, which is the Ferrari test track, and it has been modified at least 8 times. Why at least 8? Can we get an exact figure? In 1983, a chicane was inserted at the last corner to slow the cars down onto the pit straight, and it was an originally fast track with only one slow corner. Without the chicane, some cars would go through the final long right-hander flat out and would go past the pits at more than 200 miles per hour. In 1984, the first part of Spoon was made slightly slower, and the corner was brought closer to the track to expand more runoff area. And in 1985, the corner was made slightly slower. I don't want to read about that. Okay, let's look at Honda, because Honda's more exciting. No. Let's look at Fuji, the other Japanese Formula 1 Grand Prix. The Fuji Speedway is a track in the foothills of Mount Fuji, It was built in Japan. It was built in the early 1960s. In the 1980s, it was used for the FIA World Sports Car Championship and national racing. Circuit hosted the Formula One Grand Prix in 2007, replacing the Suzuka circuit. After it hosted the 2008 race, the Japanese it returned to Suzuka for every race from 2009 onwards, and it was never used in Formula One again. I've still got 2 minutes to fill. Oh my god. This Wikipedia stuff is harder than it looks. Okay, let's start on Honda now. I really can't keep on topic, but this is very boring. Okay, Honda in Formula One. Japanese right, first era, 1964 to 1968. They entered Formula One racing in 64, and can I get to the point? In their second year of competition, Honda won their first race with Ginter's win in the 1965 Mexican Grand Prix, and they managed to win the 1967 Italian Grand Prix in their new car's first Formula One race. The RA300 chassis was partly designed by Lola in the UK, and this resulted in the car being nicknamed the Hondola by the motoring press. The second era. They returned to Formula One in 1983 as an engine supplier, and stayed in the sport for a decade, teaming with Williams from 83 to 87, Lotus from 87 to 88, and McLaren from 88 to 92, and Tyrrell for 1991 only. And then they went with Red Bull, then they pulled out, and now they're actually going to Aston Martin for 2026. So apparently we're going, so
well, apparently. Quick
well, they
power
said
nap.
let's go. Oh no, I've gone on board with Sneaky, so I think the formation map's starting. Yeah, we're going for the formation map.
So, if you enjoyed those fun facts, be sure to give us a quick follow, and more Wikipedia readings will,
Yes.
if Numi, you would like to take us through the running order?
Okay, sure. I was not preparing for that, I was genuinely just on Discord on my other monitor. Right, so you got Sneaky Lag with that. Surprise pole up out of absolutely nowhere. No one saw that lap coming. He's starting on the medium tyres. Sus Among Us behind him, who I think was the favourite for pole there, was just about pipped on the line. Not pipped at the last second by Sneaky. P2 also on the mediums. Andy, who has had great early pace in all of these sessions. P3 on the softs. Jack Imac, 4th on the mediums. Shakos, quite a long way back for no particular reason, also on mediums. Ayan and El Plan on the mediums. Double reigning champion, and so far only champion, Liam Bewolder, only in 8th, starting on the hards. Tech support in 9th on the mediums. Stefan, also on the hards. LBP got unlucky to be knocked out in Q2 on the softs. D10 on the mediums. Mike on the hards. DXM, I feel like he had more pace. Just couldn't hook something together. Has my game just crashed? No, it hasn't. DXM in 14th on the mediums. Sweatback Flame eliminated also in Q2 on the hards. Now Pyro got very unlucky. Couldn't string a good lap together. Knocked out in Q1, starting the race on the softs. Hoping for a good start, I assume. His Mercedes teammate also been eliminated, filling in for Voting Web on the softs. Hearts is currently not in the session. on mediums. Zakis Beast is starting 19th on the softs, and Fuzzle was not able to attend qualifying, starting 20th on the hards. Now I'm going to invite Hart so he can actually race.
So then, just waiting for all the drivers to line up on the grid then. And get ready. D10's missed his grid slot, unfortunately. We get a lovely little view coming into turn 1 then. Let's see who will be leading after the first corner. Everyone just about parked up now, waiting for Fuzzle. Everyone now readied up on the grid. Just Among Us and Sneaky pointing against each other as we got 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. It's lights out and away we go for the Japanese Grand Prix. Looks like a good start for the Sneaky Lagger. Sasamagas behind. Also looks like he's got a fairly solid launch. A bit of justing in the back. Looks like Jack Imac has Ayan's made up a position on Shakos already then. Sort of a bit of moving and tussling around. Everyone's staying fairly well behaved. A few drivers going wide. And look at, there's a Ferrari with LPP05 going a little wide in the background then. As everyone's running through, Andy on the soft tyres, already hustling Sus Among Us along as tech support's made up a position as well. Liam unfortunately falling down on the harder compounded tyres. They're still going wheel to wheel in the S's section then. Ayan looks like he's desperate to get ahead, and that's tech support on the inside going into the second Degner. He has to back out of that one from El Plan. Another round!
D10.
Indeed that's D10 round. He's going to have to reset and start his race again. Pyro's already moved up 4 positions, so too has Haas as they go through the hairpin for the first time. Look like a Mercedes of Rocky and Zakis Beast going wheel to wheel further back on the grid then. So a fairly clean start to the race, and only one man spinning round, and that was unfortunately D10, who has dropped a further 3 seconds back. So
that's Rocky very wide at Spoon Curve there. I have no game audio, which is absolutely lovely.
Indeed he has. He's actually dropped all the way back behind DXM, and only D10 further behind him. Look at Sus Among Us being attacked by Andy on those on that hard charging Red Bull. Expect him to take the lead very shortly, especially with the pace he's got. It's almost a second is the gap out front, and look at the run that Andy's got. He pulls to the inside of the Alpine already, barreling down that long straight, already ahead before they go into the corner. The superior mechanical grip that those soft tyres provides has allowed Andy to sail into P2 and attack the Sneaky Lagger further behind him.
Both in the pit. Fuzzle is just changing tyres. Rocky is changing a wing.
So
that's interesting. Fuzzle abandoning those hard tyres immediately.
Indeed.
But I swear he dropped lower. I think at the start he would drop down to the back on those hards, but he's managed to recover a few places. Pyro, Hearts and Zakis Beast the biggest winners here. All up 4 positions. D10 the biggest loser down 6. Liam Boulder losing 3. DXM also losing 3. As they're side by side, that's L Plan and LBP side by side, going through the hairpin and down towards yeah, that is Spoon Curve. LBP on the inside. L Plan might have to back out of this one. He goes wide and concedes the place.
Indeed he will. That was an incredibly intense battle between the 3 of them there, all around, going inside and outside around that hairpin, all using picking lines. Indeed he is. Pyro right on the back of Liam. Liam pulls to the inside to be defensive going into 130R. He's just going to be able to hold Pyro off, but Pyro's now got the outside, which will become the inside come the chicane. Pyro decides to go behind and try and get a better exit coming out of that final chicane then. Goes Pyro, looks to go round the outside of Liam, round that final corner. Liam pushes him as far wide as he dares in that McLaren as Pyro tucks back into the slipstream of the McLaren, slipstreaming him all the way down before he pulls to the inside. A bit of contact between the pair of them there, and Pyro has to back out of that one. I'm not sure if that was net code or a tiny bit of contact, but certainly Pyro losing a bit of momentum.
And he's spun Sneaky out. Sneaky's out for the lead. Sus Among Us is into the lead of the race. There's contact there. VRT Andy and the Sneaky Lagger made contact. Sneaky.
Oh, a big slide from one of the Alpha Tauris. That was DXM having a big old slide. So then a yellow flag in sector 1 for that incident. I'm not exact. What I reckon's happened is that this. Oh, into the gravel for Andy as well. He's losing even more time. He's round. Andy's round yet again. He's going to be pinched on the outside of the second Degner then. He's going to have to wait for a lot of cars before he can rejoin. Indeed, he does. Rejoins P17. Andy having an absolute disastrous start.
So sneaky as well.
Yeah, indeed.
I cut to it just in time. I think it was Andy. I think
went
he went
to the back.
of
just
Sneaky,
had so much more grip. He just didn't quite expect it.
Faster.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate for Sneaky and Andy. Just a little bit of misjudgment from the pair of them.
Sneaky can't have done anything wrong there because he was comfortably ahead.
Yeah, that's just an unfortunate. That'll be down to the steward's room then to decide what really happened there. If we head to the front, Ayan is pressuring Jack Imac a bit. Ayan on those mediums, so too is Jack Imac, a bit of a double DRS. I think Ayan's got a little bit less swing than Jack Imac, as he's really pressuring that Aston Martin in that Alpha Tauri car. He's going to settle for P3 at the moment, though, not looking to make any rash decisions, as Andy into the pit lane then to get rid of those tyres that have probably been pretty badly damaged by a couple of spins then. 4 laps in, and the leaders both at, pretty much towards the back. Sneaky Lagger.
Yeah, Andy's had a wing change, I believe.
Yeah.
If he hasn't, that's a very slow stop.
LPP's
out.
He's into the wall, I'm guessing, through the fast section.
That's in the wall at the end of the... That's a safety car, yeah. Straight into the wall by the looks of things.
Yeah,
Probably just took a bit too much curb or grass on entry or something like that.
Indeed. So, a safety car then. That pretty much comes at a good time for Andy. Fuzzle, Rocky and Andy, who have all made pit stops in this race, that's going to allow them to close onto the back of the field. The safety car is going to wave them through. The Aston Martin pretty much parked very centrally on the track as we wait for the safety car to pick up the leader, Sus Among Us. So, quite a fairly clean racing start then. Just a couple of incidents up and down the grid, really. Sus Among Us has moved up 1 place, with Jack Imac up 2, Ayan up 3, Shakos up 1. Tech Support and Stefan have moved up 4 places, as El Plan has, despite being in the wars, without making contact, battling away, it's still remained in P7. Yeah, Pyro
I'm trying to see. Pyro's hit. I think Pyro's window's open. I think we'll see Pyro into the box. Jack Imac's into the pit.
Ooh.
Oh, someone stopped on the track. That's Shakos. Shakos and Tech Support have collided under the safety car.
What's happened there?
What's going on?
That'll. Ooh, what's happened there? I'm assuming that someone's head has stamped on the brakes, and so too has Shakos.
Possibly, yeah.
And Tech Support's just not seen it.
No, I think it must have been Tech Support slamming on the brakes because Shakos is out. So, but all that carnage has got Ayan up into P2.
What? I'm sure we will quickly find out what has happened there.
We're gonna have a lot to deal with in the stewards room after this one.
Yeah, indeed. Hopefully, we might see some clips coming in then. So Shakos and LPBO5, both the Ferraris out. So then, Jack Imac has unfortunately lost 5 places off the start because he pitted. He's in onto the hard compound tyres now, actually. Tech Support on some fresh mediums. Let's take a look at the tyres everyone's on. So pretty much everyone from P9 down has... so I think, yeah, Shakos and Tech Support, I'm not exactly sure what's happened. Shakos' TV went off, so he couldn't see.
Someone's just gone sliding off the road. That's D10. Just gone off at the hairpin. Thankfully, he is still facing in the right direction and didn't lose any places. That is not ideal.
So what I'm assuming has happened there is that everyone's slowed down for the safety car. Shakos,
and then
his
Shakos
TV.
went bang into the back of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. Or possibly when Shakos' thing went off, he just lost control of the car.
Yeah, completely, because he can't see where he's going. So I think that's just an unfortunate incident. And
I feel so bad for Shakos. Didn't he also have something in the pre-season? I think something like that happened to him in pre-season. Yeah,
something unlucky, like his wheel disconnected, or no, his pedals stopped working, I think it was.
Something like that, yeah.
So I think the way that Shakos can prove that that's what happened is if we see him pretty much take no control or do something that a normal player, especially a driver of his caliber, wouldn't do if there was a car in front of him.
Come up with an excuse like that.
No. So we'll just have to see what happens in the stewards room. I think they'll just be noted down as unlucky Ferraris. So Ferrari replicating what happens in real life and both out early on.
Odin's killing me for that one.
Yeah, I think that, yeah, indeed, it will be no further action. So a lot of drivers into the pits. Drivers who definitely started on softs into the pits. A few drivers who are on mediums, starting on the hard, moving on to the hards, trying to go far into this 27 lap race as they possibly can.
Pyro's into the mediums. Zach is beast gone mediums. Yeah, voting wants to have a talk with you about that joke.
I can't really say much because Ferrari actually did have an alright race today.
Alright. Yeah, everyone has flukes. You need to accept everyone has flukes.
Now we'll both be kicked off the comms team.
Good.
So, yeah, well, Ferrari in real life have not certainly had the greatest season by anyone's standards. They very much are checking.
This is Plan T for TV. It's the Ferrari master plan of how to eliminate tech support.
Yeah, to be honest, it was good that Ferrari, someone else other than Max Verstappen, led a lap. Safety car in this lap then, as everyone's caught up.
Yeah, Perez led a bit, didn't he?
Well, he's won 2 races this season. 2
yeah,
out of 9.
But like, yeah, that's fair.
The
Apparently
rest...
that's Ferrari's first lap being led this season. Anyway, let's stop talking about real life. We've got a sim race to deal with.
This is more important. So then, Sus Among Us will lead them away off the line then, and he will pick his point to bolt, ideally when he's in a bit of a straighter line and can put the power down a little more aggressively. He goes now. Indeed he does. Ayan looks like actually Mike VK21 could be under a little bit of pressure. They're all bunching up massively. The AlphaTauri, and looks like an Aston Martin darting all over the track to try and find some space. That's the Aston Martin, I think, of DXR. I think Aston Martin, Jack Imac or D10. One of the pair of them.
Right from the back of Ayan here.
Indeed, a bit of contact between Jack Imac and Sweatback Flame as Jack tried to go round the outside of the McLaren driver then. He didn't quite have enough space. Luckily, it didn't send anyone into the gravel or anybody spinning around then. Wide for Sweatback.
Very wide. That's invited Liam Bewalder through.
Indeed, Sweatback Flame also going wide. That allowed Jack Imac through. As we look further up, Mike has not had a good restart. D10 also making a move on Zach is Beast. Zach is Beast dropping down a few places, coming into the hairpin. Sneaky going down the inside, trying to recover what he has lost in this race. Then towards the back of the field, it's going to be a major squabble for these little positions that mean so much for all of these drivers.
Side by side.
Indeed, they are. Sneaky. Oh wow, the Red Bull of Fuzzle going really deep on the brakes there. Oh, it's round.
Oh,
Sneaky
no,
again.
Sneaky round again.
A bit of contact on the rear end.
It's all going wrong for Sneaky. There's a 3-way battle with Liam and the 2 Williams cars right now. Liam on the inside of El Plan through the chicane gets that done nicely.
El Plan on the grass.
Happy with that one.
Indeed, but look at the straight line speed. He's got far superior to the McLaren. Indeed, he's round the outside. He's brilliantly brave to hold that.
Around the outside there.
As Liam places his car very nicely to defend that position, and now Jack Imac could be attacking El Plan in front. Then the Aston Martin putting a little more pressure on the Williams now.
Away. 1.8 seconds advantage right now.
And look at Jack.
Side by side through the S's. Jack Imac just made a beautiful move there. I only just caught the end of that, but hopefully you caught it.
Yeah, indeed, fantastic overtake from Jack Imac as the 2 Alfa Romeos in the background.
Oh, that's a big slide. He might have been letting him through, I'm not sure. Now Mike's struggling. He's just lost 3 positions in the span of about a second. Yeah,
really struggling for grip is Mike VK21 on those older hard tyres. His setup perhaps not too intuitive to putting the power down, which is not always the greatest thing when you've got 1,000 horsepower under your right foot. Tech support, I'm not. That penalty, we'll have to wait and see. He'll definitely serve it when he pulls into the pits yet again. Tech support now on the back of El Plan. He's certainly got some fantastic pace in this race, and we're looking to try and make a move on that Williams, who himself is trying to make a move on Liam Wilder. El Plan on the inside at 130R, and look at Tech support in the background. He's going to try and follow both of them through. Down the inside at the chicane for Tech support then. El Plan's going to try and hold it around the outside, a bit of contact, but it's going to Tech Support's going to have just done enough, but El Plan tries to go around on the grass again. The exact same thing he tried on Liam Wilder last lap. He's almost spinning round, and look at Jack Imac in the background to the inside of the pair of them. Is that D10? Sorry, D10. Yeah. Sorry.
Oh, there's contact.
D10's round.
Liam Wilder have collided. D10's gone round. If it wasn't for that contact, that could have been the overtake of the week. But I think it's still got to go to Jack Imac's move on El Plan.
Zach is Beast just allowing D10 through, so perhaps he got an illegal overtake for that. Tech Support, a fantastic sequence of moves.
That's a spin. Sweatback Flame's just gone round. I just caught that in the rear view of D10. Contact with Rocky, I believe. Spun him round. And that's a 3-second time.
Liam's gone wide. Liam's gone really wide at the first Degner. Perhaps he's had a little spin. He's dropped down a few positions and is down to P13. Oh, wow. I'm not sure if that was perhaps some contact.
That's like 6 positions.
Yeah, indeed. He must have had a spin then at that second Degner. That McLaren falling down the order. Both McLarens not having a great lap 9 then, as he is under a little pressure from DXM. Although if we look further up, it's Ayan and Jack Imac that are wheel to wheel coming down this long back straight. Brilliant move from Jack Imac. He's pulling off some fantastic overtakes, but he's still going to have Ayan pressuring him behind. Ayan late on the brakes coming into the chicane, but he's not quite going to be close enough to make that move be stick then, as Jack Imac is going to lead. But although Ayan's going to have a bit of DRS though, Jack Imac weaving all over the straight, and that opens up the inside for Ayan. Ayan and Jack still fighting out. Jack trying to hang it out round the outside of Ayan. That outside now becomes the inside coming into the S's section. Jack Imac defending his position with all he possibly can in that Aston Martin, as Fuzzle picks up a penalty for ignoring track limits. Liam Wilder into the pit lane then to get off those tyres that he presumably spun on. So a great battle between Jack Imac, as now we move back to Stefan, who has just been overtaken by Tech Support, who's on a bit of a charge in this race, might I add, on those fresh medium compound tyres. He now has Ayan in front of him.
That's a yellow flag. I'm not entirely sure who that's for, but whoever it is, that's a Red Bull. Fuzzle on the grass there, losing a position to Sneaky. Last up was DXM, made a very nice move up the inside into Spoon curve. You don't often see an overtake there, but he made it work, as Liam Wilder did go slightly wide.
Indeed, and now Tech Support is right on the back of Ayan. He looks to try and find a way round the outside through 130R. He's not going to quite have the speed to do so. He's practically pushing that Alpha Tauri all the way along. And look at Stefan trying to find a way past Tech Support then, as Tech Support will have that DRS coming down that long pit straight then, and will try and find a way past Ayan in another way.
That's a hat, I think. There's Mike. Mike's had a spin.
And Tech Support has made that move on the Alpha Towers. We'll move back to Mike VK21 to see what happened to him. He's trying to defend desperately from DXM, but DXM, who did not have a spin, has better straight line speed and is able to make that move, although Mike is still desperately trying to fight that one, although he's not going to quite have the grip to do so on those 10 lap old hards. I think he just needs to get rid of those tyres, to be completely honest. So Sus Among Us then still leading away. Jack Imac only 1.2 seconds behind on those harder tyres. That will last as long as he does. A 3-second penalty then for Liam Wilder for exceeding track limits. So a few drivers towards the back of the field having those penalties. Ayan is still hanging on to the back of Tech Support with DRS. Tech Support desperately needs to get into the DRS of Jack Imac, who himself is desperately hunting down for some DRS from Sus Among Us. So it looks like Jack is going to be within that DRS for the next detection point. 8 tenths behind, although Tech Support is falling a little bit further behind Jack Imac and possibly into the clutches of Ayan, who himself is under a little bit of pressure from Stefan, only 4 tenths further back. If we look for that final battle, for that final points paying position between the two Hasses when they were back on track, when they were battling it out on track last time.
Jack's DRS wide open. He's too far back to make a move into turn 1. But he seems to just have so much more grip throughout the entire track.
Indeed, his tyres in far better condition.
He should be in the lead within a lap or two. He's so much faster. than Sus Among Us here through the first sector, but you can't make a move here unless you're feeling really bold.
Indeed, which is what Jack Imac has done earlier on in the race. And yeah, Sneaky Lagger just getting past Haas there cleanly this time around.
It's going to be the hairpin. This is first opportunity. Is he going to go for the move?
Looks a little too far back.
No, he's not going to go for it. He's too far back. He's going to go for a switchback though.
Looks like Sus went a little bit wide though, and that has allowed Jack to get a far better exit for coming up for the run up into Spoon Curve. Indeed, he has. He's about a tenth and a half behind that Alpine car. The two A's desperately battling for the A+ position in this race. That will be P1. Jack Imac then on the exit of Spoon. Looks like he's got a fairly good exit, but he might want to be waiting for that DRS zone before he makes a move. As Sus Among Us might just blast straight back past him then through 130R. Jack Imac sees that gap on the inside. That inside is now the outside for the chicane. He slots just behind Sus Among Us then, as now the Aston Martin driver will get DRS coming down this long pit straight, pulls to the inside instantly, doesn't even bother utilising the slipstream that the Alpine gives him, and Jack Imac sails into the lead of this race then, with Sus Among Us trailing in P2. Sus on those slightly older medium compound tyres then, as Ayan
pit stop window has just opened, as it seems.
Indeed.
So
Ayan is under quite a bit of pressure from Stefan. Now is that time where those mediums start to go off a lot more than the hards, and it's time to get on some fresh tyres for Ayan, for Sus, for L Plan, possibly even Fuzzle, DXM. And it's going to be they're going to go onto the hards towards the end of the race. Tech Support will probably have 4 laps left in him.
Flag that to DXM. DXM's had another spin.
That is in that middle sector as Sweatback Flame on the grass a little bit, going wide on, struggling on his old hard compound tyres then, as Ayan tries to fend off. There's another spin.
Out.
That could be a safety car.
There's a safety car. Everyone's going to be in surely. We're definitely going to see Sus Among Us into the pits.
This is
Tech Support and ARM probably too.
Well, Jack is
can serve that 5-second time penalty if he does so.
Yeah, indeed. So this actually isn't too bad for Jack, because now that can put everybody on the same tyre, as he's already been on the medium tyres. So it's probably best that everyone pits, because otherwise they're going to be losing a lot more time. Should there not be another safety car? Yeah, it's the best decision really to pit. I wouldn't recommend anyone really risking it staying out. This has actually come at a perfect time for Ayan, to be completely honest. Andy stays out.
Interesting. He's on. So he pitted on lap 4. So
not the right call.
Yeah, guess he's trying to do something different. Sneaky Lagger on 9-lap-old hards is staying out. And then the bottom 4 guys that I don't see any reason for them to stay out. So Jack Imac is emerging in P3 on track in a net P1.
Medium tyres.
Andy and Sneaky have both made a pit stop though, but there's no way they can make it to the end on them.
Sneaky might be able to make it to the end on his hards, but he's going to struggle. Andy,
he's going to have to have done like 25 laps on them.
Yeah, Andy will have to box.
I know.
Jack on the mediums is going to start to struggle towards the end of the race. It's going to be the tyre difference we saw between Ayan and Stefan. It's just going to be a little bit worse for Jack towards the final couple of laps. But if he can use those mediums at the start to pull away sort of 5-6 seconds from Sus Among Us, this could be quite good for Jack Imac. Sus on the hards as well. Stefan and Pyro on the mediums. Pyro's made up a lot of positions. Tech Support on the hards. Not ideal, really, for him, especially since he had to serve that 5-second penalty. And on the slightly slower tyre, he's got a lot of work to do, to be completely honest.
Let's just hopefully be quicker by the end of the race. Or hopefully, if your name is Tech Support. Sweatback Flame has just got a time penalty under the safety car. For multiple warnings.
Indeed, he has.
That is really not what it wants.
So Shakos' AI steered into the wall, apparently. So I'm just watching that clip back now. Yeah. Right.
Yeah,
let's just. The safety car is in. Tech Support's behind him, and so Shakos his AI just steers him into the pit wall. because his TV disconnected, and
Pauses
then
the game,
it
and then
and
tech
then
support goes into the back of him.
and then it reset him to track.
Oh.
It resets him to
That's-
track. That's odd.
No, it does that if you crash in the pit lane and that sort of thing. It
So
often does that.
that's what's happened then. So that is
Yeah, it's
really
definitely
unfortunate. If you guys are just joining us in this race, it's been a little more tame than we saw last weekend. Not as many incidents and crashes, but certainly plenty of action then. The two guys who are currently leading had an incident the other way round that sent them to the back of the grid. Jack Imac has been making some brilliant overtakes that has sent him up into P3. Sus Among Us still in P2 at the moment then. And Pyro's made up a lot of places as well. Tech Sport on the charge after he had an unfortunate safety car TV turn-off incident with Shakos. Rocky and LPBO5 as Mike VK21 retires in the pit lane then, deciding his struggles are not worth his time.
His force feedback and his brakes weren't working.
That's a very valid reason.
Yeah, so I think he's basically just given up. He theoretically probably could have restarted his wheel, but opting not to on this occasion. You reckon we'll see the safety car in this lap? Probably, right?
Yes, safety car should be in this lap.
I mean, what lap did it come out?
Well, everyone's in the queue, so hopefully this is our second safety car.
Yeah, it doesn't do it. But it came out on lap 13, so it might be next lap. But it does it based off the number of laps, not when people catch the queue. Sadly. Like, I've seen VSCs going green again when there's still the car on track. Like, on like F1 2020, a VSC would last for like half a sector, then it would just go green again. Yeah, safety car in this lap, okay. So get back to racing here. We've got Jack Imac on the fresh mediums looking to hunt down Andy and the sneaky lagger as fast as he possibly can to not give Sus Among Us even the slightest of chances of jumping him.
Indeed. So Andy then, on the old medium tyres, will lead them away off the line. We'll see exactly how much grip he has. Do expect Jack to be right on the back of this pair coming through the S's. It could get pretty interesting then as away they go. And he looks like he's got a good jump. Sus Among Us did not have a good start and is under a bit of pressure from Ayan actually, who switches back into the slipstream. We'll have to wait and see if he pulls to the inside. He's not quite close enough to do so. Nobody really making many moves. Jack Imac is a little bit stuck though. He pulls to the outside of Sneaky Lagger, who backs off and lets Jack Imac through. Jack Imac up into P2 already then. And Sneaky down into P3 this early on. Jack Imac
looks like he's gonna get Andy by the hairpin, I reckon. I think he's just gonna go for it into the hairpin. He's not wasting any time here. He's already pulled a second to Sus Among Us. And he'd like to pull that gap out a bit more, I reckon. If he could decide. That's someone going very wide. That's Stefan going wide and onto the curb. Jack Imac can't make a move this time around.
Yeah, that's unfortunate for Stefan.
Gonna have a chance into the chicane and the final corner where he's made so many moves, just blasting past into turn 1. There's a yellow flag. That's his DXM round again at the hairpin.
He's really struggling in this session is DXM. So now Jack Imac.
Right, here goes Jack Imac. He's 2 tenths back now.
The superior speed.
He's got such a good exit compared to the Red Bull, but the Red Bull has more in the straight line. Sus Among Us has also made a move on Sneaky Lagger. Here goes Jack Imac. He's not going to go for it this time around. He backs out.
He's gonna
Can he
use
get a switch back on the Red Bull? He's got a better exit, but the Red Bull has superior straight line speed. It's not going to matter. Jack Imac around the outside, back into the race lead. And now how long until Sus Among Us follows him through?
We'll have to wait and see Sus Among Us getting past Sneaky Lagger very easily. So too did Ayan on those fresher tyres. So they're just falling back. The two Williams still scrapping away. El Plan ahead of Stefan now as well, who's just fallen back dramatically after his escapades out onto the curbs. Liam Wilder and Zakis Beast also fighting. It looked like a bit of a slide there from Haas. But yeah, Liam and Zakis Beast. Liam just getting past Zach with a fantastic little overtake in the S's section as if we move as a DXM changes his front wing.
Sus Among Us just at a personal best sector of the race, so he's gonna look to. He's 5 tenths up on his previous best first sector. So he's definitely looking to get past Andy as soon as possible here. He might try to copy exactly what Jack Imac did and go for it into turn 1, or he might go sooner. We're going to have to wait and see what Sus Among Us does here. He's got the run. Can he get past Andy into 130R? He's going to go for it. And he's got the move done before the corner.
Yeah.
Sus Among Us into second place.
Tech support also in the very similar, getting past at 130R. D10 flying off the track as he goes down the inside. A big send from D10, a bit of contact, and he's sliding all over the track and does manage to get that overtake done. And he overtakes El Plan as well. I think El Plan got a penalty for corner cutting due to the send of D10, but that Aston Martin capitalising on whatever chaos was going on in front of him, as now Stefan swoops around the outside of El Plan, who goes deep, gets a bit caught out on the curb and falls back behind and picks up another 3-second penalty. So I think El Plan has just picked up 6 seconds of penalties in the sequence of a chicane and a straight, and then turn 1. So El Plan falling back in this race further than he really wanted to. And if we
I don't think El Plan can be blamed for what he did at the chicane. I feel like D10 tried to send it. I think they were already 3 wide when D10 decided to send it.
Yeah,
I don't think that was a particularly fair move. The stewards will definitely have a look at that one.
Yeah, indeed.
He's dropped Sneaky Lagger all the way down to 10th.
Yeah, that's Sneaky has just been falling back like a rock in a river, as Stefan now is right behind D10 and we're perhaps looking for a move. Tech support's already up into P6 and attacking Pyro in front of him, trying to find a way to move around him.
I think Liam might have slightly clipped the rear of Hearts through Spoon Curb, but here he goes into 130R, just like what Sus Among Us did on Andy. He goes up the inside into 130R, or Zach is Beast trying to make a move on the Haas driver. Well, he gets too much wheel spin on the exit, and that invites Sweatback Flame to breeze past him down the straight. He goes hard back on Liam Bewolder, up the inside into turn 1. It's committed, and he leaves just enough space. Hearts gets his 12th position back.
Yeah, more importantly though, Aeon has jumped ahead of Sus Among Us, and Tech support and Pyro were battling hard up ahead. Just going into turn 1, Aeon using the DRS breezed past Sus Among Us, and Pyro and Tech support were really fighting hard. And now Pyro's right on the back of Andy, who is still yet to pit. Perhaps Andy trying to go as long as he can to bolt on a set of fresh soft compound tyres. He knows he's going to fall back in the order, so he might as well.
By 2.3 seconds. It's going just how Jack Imac would have wanted it so far. Opening up that gap, trying to run away as much as he can before the full force of Sus Among Us on those hard tyres is unleashed.
Yeah, indeed. And what is helping them is Aeon is now under pressure from Sus Among Us. So Aeon's not been able to pull away because the AlphaTauri driver does not have any ERS to play with. Sus Among Us has about 50% of his battery, or close to 60% actually, compared to the 10% on Aeon. So Aeon definitely using more of his ERS than Sus Among Us, who's going for the long game, and is actually has Andy right behind him, who is on 16-lap-old medium tyres.
Oh, that's late defence there from D10, but Fuzzle makes a move. D10 trying to keep it around the outside. D10 trying to hang it around the outside there. There's contact. Fuzzle goes over the curves. D10 goes onto the grass. Fuzzle is ahead of D10. But yet again, I think the stewards are going to have to look at an incident involving the Aston Martin of D10.
Indeed. Good job. He's somehow he's keeping it in the points for now. Someone who might not be keeping his position for too long is Aeon. Sus Among Us is pressuring him all the time. He's close to 70% ERS compared to Aeon still on around in the teens for his ERS value. So Sus Among Us really harvesting as much energy as he wishes, as he knows he's faster than Aeon. As long as he's not fighting him, he's not going to be losing too much time to Jack Imac, who has gained a further 10th on this lap and will be looking to stretch that gap as large as he possibly can. But Aeon, though, He's managed to make it up to P2, which is a good position for Aeon. Although Sus Among Us, look at the speed he's got going into 130R. He almost thought about a move there, and that's without ERS completely. Aeon defending the outside to make sure Sus Among Us cannot get the inside. Coming onto the exit, although Aeon looks like he got a bit of a snap of oversteer, pushing as hard as he dare. Sus Among Us then slots in behind him for the slipstream along the long pit straight, using as much ERS as he possibly can. He breezes past with ERS and DRS. Aeon no energy deployment to play around with, and Sus Among Us takes back P2 and will be looking to pull away now from Aeon and possibly attack Jack Imac in the last 6 laps or so. Tech support has got past Pyro as well and is now preparing to attack the Red Bull of Andy, whose tyres must be absolutely crying in pain with the amount of energy that's been put through them. He's still on them.
They've got to be near to 100% now, surely.
He can't possibly be going to the end of this race. That would be...
He's got to be hanging on, hoping for a late safety car.
Yeah,
if there is a late safety car, everyone else will be sitting ducks compared to him.
Yeah, that is... Yeah, that is his pretty much his only hope now. Although
Jack Imac is still 2 seconds clear.
Sus Among Us has really eaten into that advantage. Jack Imac, though, is harvesting his ERS a little bit there. Sus Among Us using a bit of energy, whereas I reckon Jack is saving still just that little bit more. They're about 15%. Jack getting a huge slide, actually, coming out. So he's pushing hard as possible. But I think what's annoying for tech support is that Aeon is going to be under pressure from Andy, and that's going to give him the DRS, which is pretty much preventing a tech support overtake, as it's pretty difficult to overtake with DRS when the driver in front has DRS. You have to be much faster, and tech support is just struggling to get that much closer, and that's DXM again, who's probably going to get lapped by Jack Imac. Sus Among Us is looking fast. He's looking really fast, dangerously fast. Jack Imac's tyres perhaps going off a little bit this early on. Perhaps he's saving some tyres. We cannot be too sure what's going on in his mind. He might just magically pull out some pace and be able to gap the Alpine driver. But Jack
opening the gap up again a bit more. A couple tenths on just the run down to Spoon alone.
Indeed, I think Jack is DXM retires in the pit lane.
Oh, someone's in the wall. Zakis Beast has just gone into the wall of the hairpin. That's a virtual safety car, I think. Or it's just a yellow flag in all sectors.
Yeah, yellow flag in all sectors. Yeah, VSC then. So, if there was a time... No, I think it's going to end probably before Andy can get into the pit lane.
I mean, Andy is coming up to the pit lane about now. No signs of it ending yet.
He pits.
And he does indeed dive for the pit lane.
If there was a time, it would be now.
Yeah, and he's in.
Fresh soft compound tyres going on to the Red Bull.
The virtual safety car will be ending. I mean, it flashed, which probably means ending. Our DXM's car has gone back onto the track.
It's okay, it'll retire at turn 1. It's really unfortunate.
He's still going around the S's, and he's holding Jack Imac up massively. Jack Imac's being massively held up by the retiring car of DXM. He's lost all that delta, but he's going green already. He's just lost about a second to Sus Among Us because of one retired car.
Yeah, that's
not the fault of DXM, but it's incredibly unlucky for Sus Among Us. For Jack Imac, sorry.
Yeah, indeed. Now that puts Sus Among Us right on his gearbox and inside the DRS range. He's going to really struggle, will Jack Imac, to open that gap by 3/10. He needs...
He's going to have enough time to open back up the delta that he had lost.
Yeah, indeed. He's going to have to... He's getting close, though. That gap is back up to 9/10. Jack is going to have to use a little bit of ERS to do so, although Sus Among Us has cut it down. Although it looks like they're just taking time away from each other where they possibly can. It's going to be very tight. Jack Imac is going to have to defend for his life. He's using as much ERS as he dares. Sus Among Us, though, has still got 50% to play with. Sasamanga is definitely in the power position, as now Ayan and Tech Support are battling for that final podium position. Tech Support only about 3/10 behind us now. DRS is enabled, and DRS will be active for Sasamanga.
Tech Support with a bit of a slide that might invite Pyro, but he doesn't have the speed in a straight line. Tech Support's so rapid in the straight line, he's going to go for it into turn 1. There's contact, Tech Support in the spin.
Whoa!
He's into the barrier, but he's still in the race. And all that hard work from Tech Support's gone, and it's another virtual safety car.
What this does too is Tech Support, he'll probably not score any points then this race. Unfortunately for him, contact with his cousin then, which is...
Wait, they're cousins?
Yeah, that's going to cause a bit of a family feud.
Tech Support and a cousin. I never knew that.
So that will cause a bit of drama in the family at the next family meal. And now Aeon's actually dropped a couple of places because of that. And look who's in the podium positions. Oh no!
Sasamanga sped.
He's sped, he's got a drive through.
Thrown it.
Sasamanga snow, and it's now back to green flag conditions. Oh, that's really unlucky for Sasamanga.
We're looking at a Pyro and Stefan on the podium. Pyro out in Q1 is looking at a net P2 in this race.
No, that's so unlucky. I can't believe Sasamanga has done that. That's so unlucky. When will
Stefan? He's not happy with Pyro having that P2.
Sasamanga goes down the inside actually of Jack Imac, although he's going to probably peel into the pit lane.
Jack Imac's not going to fight him.
He's not.
There's no point fighting him.
Sasamanga is going to stay out as long as he possibly can, although it's to try and get maximum points. That is definitely the smart move, as Stefan has gone with DRS around the outside of Pyro and up into P3, or net P2 then. So Jack Imac's smartest move would just be to let Sus go.
Yeah, that's what he's done.
Tech Support retires in the pit lane. Perhaps a bit of floor damage or something like that.
Yeah, possibly.
But yeah, so Sus getting a little slidey, but it is smart for Jack Imac to let him through, charge his battery up, so he can just make it the easiest thing possible for him to just nurse that car home.
Did the exact same thing, like in Spain. I think in the pre-season, he also slightly jumped the safety car restart and got himself a drive-through. Pyro's still on the back of Stefan. He's not happy with it, with how he's lost that P2 position. Ayan may have a bit of floor damage from what it looks like on the car, but that also could just be the game. But here goes Pyro. Can Pyro go for a move into the chicane? I don't think he's going to go for it this time around. Yeah, no. Not a chance for Pyro. El Plan's now on the back of Ayan, and possibly with some floor or side pod damage after that collision with Tech Support. Fuzzle with a big slide on the rear.
So Fuzzle's actually come out from pretty much nowhere, to be honest. El Plan on the grass, and he just swoops around the outside of Ayan. Nothing Ayan can do about that one.
El Plan's at the slide.
Big slide. Ayan thinks about going back down the inside, but El Plan still has just a bit of superior downforce levels, I think, to be honest, with Ayan possibly taking a bit of damage and no ERS to help defend his cause. Expect to see him fly down the order within the next few laps. My audio is glitching a little bit.
Oh, you have the audio bug as well.
Yeah, it's sort of like a droning sound.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
I've had this the entire time.
So Tech Support really not happy, I don't think, as he left that session pretty fast.
Yeah, I feel for him. He had such a good drive up to that point.
Yeah, we'll have to see.
But someone else that's had a mega drive, Pyro in the Mercedes.
Indeed.
Hook up qualifying as he would have liked. He's up 12 positions. Fuzzle also up 13. And that will be 13 positions also for Pyro. Sasamanga has not served it, he's been disqualified.
Yeah, I thought it was odd that he didn't pull into the pits. So he should have pulled in that lap, and Sus Among Us is out of the session then,
I mean, he wouldn't
disqualified.
have scored points anyway. But
No, he must have been pretty angry at himself, and that means
yeah.
Stefan moves up into a net P2, and Jack Imac on the final lap of the race is now in that lead. And I think the order will remain relatively the same. They are still trying to fend off a charging Red Bull and Aston Martin behind him with whatever.
40% ERS compared to Aon's 8.
Yeah.
5 times the amount of ERS. He's gonna surely have a look at some point during this lap. As the yellow flag, Hearts should have had a spin.
Indeed, he has.
Pyro is surely too far back to make a move on Stefan.
Far too back at this point. Stefan's done pretty much everything right to take a P2 in that Williams.
Puzzle's gonna drain that battery into 130R.
Indeed, I think that's Andy just getting past Sneaky Lagger on those fresh soft compound tires, so he is going to score some points.
Puzzle's got so much more straight line speed. Aon moves late, he's very slow. Fuzzle's gone into the back of him. That may be investigated yet again. But Fuzzle's going to still try to hang it around the outside into the chicane. Oh, D10 comes out of nowhere, completely sends it.
The D10 now on the inside of Fuzzle.
Very late move.
Makes that move
so
work.
Many late moves this race. But with time penalties,
Andy's
Andy
P5
jumped all of them with time penalties.
Indeed. So unfortunately we didn't quite get to wave Jack Imac around to the finish line, but Jack Imac, against all the odds, managed to put in a beautiful drive today to finish ahead of everyone. We had a lot of DNFs actually out there today.
I think we're also going to have to see many penalties. I feel like there are going to be a swarm of penalties going D10's way after that. He's put in some very questionable dive bombs.
Indeed. So brilliant drives from Jack Imac, Steph, everyone pretty much has had a fantastic drive. A great comeback drive as well from Andy to finish where he did. So then, when it comes to it, brilliant drive from Jack Imac, brilliant drive from Stefan and Pyro. Ayan also held out wonderfully at the end after his incident with tech support. We will see what the stewards make of that bear. But wow, what a fantastic race. I think, for me, driver of the day vote does have to go to Pyro. Brilliant drive.
Same. Like, Pyro had a very good drive today. Like, he had the pace in qualifying, and then the recovery from there was exceptional. Like, to the point where I didn't really notice him making the moves. That's how, like, silently he was cutting his way through the field. But like,
so Jack,
whether it was obvious or not,
so Jack Imac will take the lead of the championship then going into round 3. So for everybody watching the stream today, a big thank you for taking the time to watch us, and I do hope you enjoyed that action-packed Japanese Grand Prix. Battles all around the track, overtakes, incidents, crashes. It was a good race. So thank you everybody for watching, and thank you Numi for stepping into the co-com's position today. Yep. So a big thank you to everybody for watching, and I hope to see you guys next week for round 3 of XLR Season 3.
And Season 1 if you're talking about Tier 2.
Yeah.